From Rex, Mr. Klavan, I've listened to your podcast about a year now and have thoroughly enjoyed your humor and powerful command of the English language. My lady friend and I are both strongly religious and adherent Christians, but we likely won't get married for a few more years until she finishes university studies. In the meantime, we're remaining celibate because that's how we interpret the Bible, no sex until marriage. To understate the reality, it's a challenge. What is the purpose of this no sex until marriage concept, and what benefits might it confer to people who practice this compared to people who don't practice this? Thanks for your time. Okay, but first let me tell you what I can't do here. I can't speak as a theologian because I'm not a theologian, and I can't speak from experience because I didn't live this life. I did not live this life. I've lived a faithful married life, but I did not live a celibate pre-married life. But it is pretty clear that you do a lot less damage this way. Consider the fact that if you live in a culture that values virginity and you take your girlfriend's virginity and then break up with her, you have now put her back into a culture where she is less valuable to that culture. So that is right there is a terrible thing to have done to her. And again, I'm not speaking as a theologian. I'm not speaking even as a moralist. I'm just talking practically here. Obviously, the risk of pregnancy, which is always real, which really, the thing is, we always think about sex like it's like just a fun couple of, a fun few minutes that you're having, but you're actually doing that thing that humans do when they want to reproduce. And so, there's always the chance of the baby coming. And I have to tell you, from people who have lived a life of celibacy until marriage, they recommend it highly. The argument on the other side is always, well, you don't know you're sexually compatible and you don't know that you'll get along. I have never heard anybody complain about this, actually, from the celibate side of it. I've never heard anybody say, oh yeah, and then we got into bed and we couldn't work out our differences. What they say instead is that it takes marriage and it elevates it into another state. So before you're in that state, you are not married, and then suddenly you are married and you get it. You get the complexity of becoming one flesh, and you get the depth of it, and it all becomes very important. The one thing that leapt out at me in your letter, by the way, on another topic is, why don't you just get married? I mean, so she's still in university. Well, I don't know. When my wife and I married, we had nothing. We had nothing at all. She was working to support a guy who wanted to make a living as a writer, which is virtually impossible. What a clown she was. but I fooled her by actually making a living as a writer. And, we made a lot of mistakes and all that, but I'm just saying that, when you get married, then your life will be together and you'll put her through university together and you'll travel through university together, and then you won't have this problem.